to another episode of Let's Talk Deer, brought to you by Grandpa Ray Outdoors, owned by Mr. John O'Brien. John's a Midwestern guy. He's around the Madison, Wisconsin area. He's been an agronomist for over 29 years. So he knows seed, he knows soil, and he knows what white-tailed deer need. John has a large seed company, Grandpa Ray Outdoors, but also he's in educating. He's one of the best educators, seminar, platform speaker, communicator for soil, water, and cover. The soil brings the food, the water hydrates, and the cover keeps them safe. So that's what whitetail needs. So any questions at all about seed, go to grandparrayoutdoors.com. Let's Talk Deer does receive compensation from Grandpa Ray Outdoors for mentioning him on my show. Welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Deer, and we got an alumni with us, Christopher Joe. Now, Christopher lives down in Alabama, and he's a fourth-generation cattle rancher down there at Joe's Black Angus Farm. But a few years ago, Christopher and I chit-chatted about the future, and he's got an entrepreneurial bent. He does have a full-time job with the Department of Agriculture as a conservationist down in Alabama, but he started to think about, what can I do? How can I diversify my property? And that's what we're going to talk about, because I know thousands of my listeners are hearing or doing food plots right now and habitat, and they're spending money and having all these people come in, but they don't realize what else they have going on. And so Christopher's going to share what he's going on, because he hunts turkey and deer and rabbits and been doing that for a long time. But he took a look at his property and said, I think there's more to the story here. So Christopher Joe, it's just a pleasure to have you on Let's Talk Deer.
Glad to be back. Glad to be back.
So tell me the story.
Well, yeah, we're basically a multi-generational Black Angus cattle farm in Newbern, Alabama. So we are a cow-calf operation with two main herd bulls. So each bull has his own herd. So roughly probably 70 to 75 we usually keep as our brood cattle going through the year. So we sell calves, and also right now, with the way the market is, we're getting more requests for steers. So we're trying to get some of those ready, those young bulls. We already done clipped them and did the business to them. And now a year, 2 years from now, they'll be ready for putting in the freezer, putting on the plate. So that's one of the ways that, we changed in this new Corona situation with beef market. So that's a good way to diversify for farmers that raise cattle, is to look into, selling person to person, not so much relying on the market or selling at a stockyard. So we've identified people that we sell to, and we usually do it like that. So that kind of helped get us through. We weren't hit so hard with the shutdown and everything, so we did pretty good. Matter of fact, we sold all the ones that we had to sell, so right now we're just in a restocking phase. But I started looking around to see what other landowners were doing, and we have 200 acres. We raise our own hay, so we cut hay, bale hay, and we do have a contract with a local farmer that we sell some of our excess hay to him. So we have the hay, but there's also something that I wanted to do in addition to, and that's when I reached out to the University of Alabama tourism department and a gentleman that came down to the farm and helped. And he started with the idea or premise of turning our property into an ag tourist. So ag tourism, basically using your property as a means to lure other people into activities that they want to do. And bird watching was the main thing that came out of that. So he hooked me up with our local Audubon chapter in Alabama, and two of their representatives came down, rode the property with us, and they was like, how can we be partner with you to come on private land and bring our members and other fellow birders on your property. And the funny thing, the funny thing about it is that he was like, for years, we've been actually watching you guys from the highway cutting and baling your hay and watching the birds follow. Because I don't know how many of you know, the hay process, but when you cut hay and you got grass that's high, insects are in it. And so when we're coming by with the tractor, I mean, it's like popcorn behind us. And the swallowtail kite is our main bird that we draw to the property during those times. So from we're starting cutting hay, let's say we cut Mother's Day. So we started some last month and it'll go to the end of summer. The swallowtail kite usually come and they're following behind us. I mean, it's like aerial. I mean, they're just going everywhere, catching the insects, eating them in the air. They don't even land. They just come, swoop them, go up. You can see them munch on them, and they're back again, coming back around. And at one time, I think we've had at least 10 to 12 behind us, following us, and that's been a major draw. So we were able to host at least 130 people down at our property because of that draw of that bird. So they brought a tour bus and we just had a full day. We, catered a meal for everyone and it just turned into a great day. So I think that's diversifying the property and understanding what your property is. There is different people out there that can direct you into, possible things that you can do on your property. So without me talking to the tourist guy from the tourism department, I probably would have been still spinning my wheels. But I met with him September. I started my business October of 18, and we had our first tour February, the second weekend in February. That was my first tour, and it's been successful ever since then. So, I mean, yeah, July the 20th of 19 was our largest event that we had. So diversifying the property. Yes, we can still deer hunt. Yes, you can still turkey hunt. You can still do all the things you normally do, but adding that component to where, you can allow people to come and do events like that or bird. I mean, I've had just one person come this past Sunday and all he wanted to do was take pictures. He had a good camera with him and he just said, like, I just wanted to bird watch and take pictures. And he paid and we treated him like we had a whole group of people, and just that knowledge of knowing your property, knowing where things are, getting that person to him. And then he was able to see his target bird because it was a summer tanager that he was wanting to get a picture of. So the bird is about bright yellow. It's like it'll put you in the mind frame of a cardinal, but it's brighter and a lot more sleek than that. So we had one going back and forth over our heads, and I mean, he just like was a kid in the candy store. So just helping people to get those kind of little victories like that, and then also getting people outdoors, because I think a lot of us we get lulled into our routine and we stop going outside like we used to. I mean, just sitting out on the porch, a lot of people kind of got away from that. So I'm doing my part in trying to get people outdoors. You feel a lot better. You get your vitamin D for the day. You can kind of relax a little bit, decompress. And I think a lot of people need to decompress because you're tense and you don't even know it. So going outside, just taking a breath, and that's been one of the ways I can kind of sell what we do there, is that it's a break from the normal. You're reconnecting back with nature. There's car sounds. There's not a highway buzzing. You don't hear cars all day long. I can take you somewhere and drop you off. I mean, it's just you and whatever nature sounds out there. So birds, and even at night, if you're not too scared to stay that late, and when the sun goes down, the owls start. And I mean, I don't know how many of you been in the deep woods and the owls start sounding off. It sound like a horror movie, but you're fine. So we just been doing that, and I think that's the biggest thing that we can showcase is that we're a small little piece of the puzzle that if other landowners private landowners can kind of get with that, they can see the benefits of doing ag tourism on their property. Because you got your people that sells your pick and pay places, like your blueberry. I know a lady that does blueberry patches, and she lets people come pick their blueberries, and they pay, but they make a day out of it, or they make some, family moments. The kids are out picking. Strawberry lady does strawberries also. So these are kind of ag tourist diversifying means to property. So if you know that you have even wildflowers, people plant life. That's a big thing because we're looking at doing some native grasses, and native grasses in Alabama, is a prairie type habitat. So getting back to a more natural environment, a lot of different animals and plant life comes out of that too. So people have different hobbies that, I like one lady, she just said, I just like looking at flowers. Well, if you have a patch of a food plot, you can easily say, well, let me just make this a wildflower area and plant a variety of native grasses and see what happens. Uh, the industry where people, sunflowers. A lot of people made a bunch of money just because people like to do photo shoots in sunflower fields. So identify kind of what your property is. Get somebody, if you don't know, get somebody that can kind of assist you in finding out what your property capabilities are.
So, if somebody wants to get a hold of you and book a trip, how do they do that?
Well, you can reach me by email, birds and nature tours at gmail.com. And I can get you the link to all my other means, but that's the easiest way to get a hold of me is just email me and say, hey, I'm interested in the tour. Then I'll shoot you the website. I'll shoot you my Instagram page, and YouTube channel as well. So I'm operating all of those. So I don't ask me if I find the time to do all that in a full-time job and 1-year-old child in the next day. So I'm finding time for it, but it's been a passion that I know that a lot of people appreciate. And so when I talk to people and tell them about that stuff, they say, "Oh, I think I can do something like that on my place." And I'm just about helping people because I've been through it. I didn't spin my wheels a lot because I identified who knew what early, and that kind of helped me along faster. So from 4 months' time, I was hosting tours and not a whole year later doing something and waiting. So I kind of hopped right in there and got it going. And now all I'm doing is just basically promoting and marketing and saying, hey, I'm here. We've had others come on down too. And all the social distancing, trust me, we can put you somewhere on the property that I really can get you 6 feet apart from a lot of people. So uh, you don't have to worry about that.
You told me on the Facebook Live segment that you had a tour bus and there was like 100 some people.
We had the Alabama Autobahn uh, wanted to do we were in a region in Alabama called the Black Belt. That's mainly because due to the rich soils, black, dark soils is pretty much grows anything you want to. So we wanted to come up with a tour that showcased birding. And that's when we put together, or they put together the first, and we were supposed to have one in July of this year, but due to the corona, we had to pause that. But we're still kind of doing smaller groups, just not a large. But they brought they rented a tour bus, got a tour guide. I mean, the tour bus brought 125 people down to our farm. So they pulled up in a tour bus, and there was a train of cars. So those that wasn't on the bus, they drove. So probably we had 130 people down at our farm at one time. And we had a demonstration for them to where we got a chance to make the birds, the swallowtail kite and the Mississippi kite come while they were there. And I mean, it just was like a magic trick. So Dad, we left us a plot in our hayfield that we didn't cut down. So Dad started up the tractor, did a couple of passes, and it's something about the sound of a tractor. I don't know what draws them in, and you just start seeing them coming slow, coming down, and then they're just behind the tractor catching insects. And we had people on the fence line just watching, and they were just amazed that they're seeing this right in front of them. And some of those birds, I mean, they're not a teeny bird, so they can see them swooping and dive bombing and catching the insects, eating them. And a couple of the photographers there shared some pictures with me, and I mean, it was amazing. It really was. So I usually drive in the tractor with we have an 18-foot trailer that we use to get you around on the property. So you can walk if you like. All our trails are bush hog, natural trails to where there's not, it's not a rock-based road system. Everything is as natural can get. There's no large vehicles driving around on the trails. It's just a tractor and a Gator 4x4, what we have, John Deere Gator, and that's about the only vehicles that we have that rides around the property because we want to keep it to where we're not dirt riding, mud riding, cutting up the property because that would take away from what we're trying to do there. So besides the cows, that's the only thing that's down in and around the property. So we have people, we take them they get on the trailer, we ride them to their spots. And when you come, you have a map. I provide you a map of the property with all the trails on it. So if you want to strike out on your own, you can. And I say I'm usually get there early in the morning anyway. So if you want to book your tour if you just want to do 3 hours, that's fine. If you want to do afternoon, that's fine. So I'm flexible with anything because when I come down there, I come down there to work and then allow others to see what we enjoy because we enjoy the property. And that's another thing that I want people or landowners, I want them to get the idea of you enjoy the property. You grew up, let's just say you grew up on a farm and even just strictly cows. I know a couple of people that just do cow feedings. People can come and be a farm hand for a day, stuff like that. So if you're not, if you're willing to put it out there that you're open to the public or, open to the public by way of booking a tour, then I think you should go for it because it will make you see other people in a way that you didn't know those kind of things. Because I mean, I knew about birds, but I didn't know that there were people that travel worldwide to come and look at birds, or people that travel for hours to get to your property to see a certain bird. So once they started showing me that was possible, then I was all ears, and I was like, "This is gonna work, Chris. This is gonna work." And it worked. When that tour bus rolled up and all those people got off, I said, "Okay, I think we working. I think we're working."
And what does it cost them? So what do those people have to pay?
You can pay 25 for 3 hours, and if you want to go more than that, it's $40, and you can just hang around the entire day. If you want lunch, there's a place not 10 minutes from our farm that you can go get lunch. If you want to come back for afternoon time, so you can go from morning to noon or from noon to dark. So you can pick and choose what you want to do.
Now, you said you will cater. Now, you charge for that catering too?
Normally we cater only for the large groups and large events, but for individuals, we're normally will kind of bring you to a spot in Greensboro that normally we take people to for lunch. So they can come and get lunch at a local place, see what local stuff is around, and then come back if they want to finish up an afternoon. So we make
So
it
does
available.
that $25 for a large group, does that cover lunch or not?
Oh yeah, that'll do it for lunch. I mean, if a large group comes and they're, most of what the Audubon folks did, they just paid us as their or from their organization, and then they paid for the meal. So the
Okay.
organization paid for the meal. hmm And that's a
Well,
good
that
way to
works
do it.
good.
So if a group or a school group wants to come, we'll just say, hey, we have a caterer that, they just pay them and they provide the food.
Great.
And
Now,
it's
again,
good.
how does somebody get a hold of connecting with birds and nature?
They can
How do you get a
come
hold of you?
and they can email me is the easiest way at birdsandnaturetours@gmail.com. And I can get you all the other social media pages because social media right now has really been my saving grace because I made more connections that way than, I mean, even with the website, you still don't reach the amount of people that you think if you would, without social media. And social media has been
Sure.
great, great to me. So I use that often. So people can follow along. I do post often. I post pictures of what we do down at the farm. I do have a YouTube channels also that go along with it. So you can come in. And matter of fact, we're having I just completed a virtual tour. We haven't released it just yet, but the Audubon, I did it for the Audubon Society, and they're going to release that video here next week or so. So it's about 8 minutes, a virtual tour. I have drone footage of aerials of the property. So we have the drone footage. We have nice pictures. We have actual tours I recorded, people, bird sounds. So I'm covering the whole spectrum. So even if you're saying, well, I want to see what those guys do down there, I made it available, virtual tour. So you feel free to watch that when it does come out, and I'll shoot that link to Mr. Bruce, so he can post it as well. So y'all can come back in another week or two and watch that entire video, and I guarantee you're gonna say, man, I think I want to come down there and see what they got going on. So we'll take care
Well,
of you.
I'm thinking I of course couldn't go turkey hunting this year. I had an invite to Montevallo or
Yeah, I know what that
Montevallo.
is.
Yeah,
Montevallo.
Montevallo, University
hmm
of, and I know William Crawford, Mr. William Crawford over there, and he invited me
Yeah.
down, and then I was going to go fly into Birmingham, go down see him at Montevallo, and then go up see Josh Honeycutt up in Kentucky, and hunt both of those states in the same week.
Mm.
3 days and 3 days, and couldn't do it. Really a bummer.
Yeah, I didn't even get a chance to turkey hunt this year. I didn't at
Really?
all. I didn't at all. And I saw turkeys. And I saw them
You're
and
covered
everything.
up
I
with turkeys.
I saw them and didn't even get a chance to go. I was just that busy getting business stuff situated and making connections that I ain't even get a chance to go, man. But I'm
Well,
guaranteed I'm gonna go next year and deer hunting.
well, you
I
better
always
because
go deer hunting.
all right.
What's that?
Well, I said you better because I'm thinking seriously about coming down there for a few days. Now, how far is
Hey,
Montgomery from Birmingham?
you can. Matter of fact, it'd probably be easier if you fly into Birmingham, and then from
Yeah.
Birmingham to our farm is 2 hours, barely two,
Well, so you're not that
from
far
the
from
airport.
Montevallo.
No, Montevallo's on the other side. That's easy to get to from us.
All
Yeah,
right.
everything's close. I'm like saying we're in a section that if you get to Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Demopolis, Montevallo, all that is the same little space in the state. So you're pretty much gonna be around everybody.
Huh. How many turkeys can you get in Alabama?
I think I think you're supposed to get one per day. I mean, I don't think they'd let you do like
Oh, one per day.
doubling up. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you can't. I mean, if you get tags, but you're normally um, private property. I mean, when we see them, we shoot them.
Yeah.
And like I said,
No,
Dad
I
was the
get that.
last one to get one. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But if you're hunting, on somebody else, you probably got to get purchase a tag or something to do that.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about the world of birding. A lot of deer hunters, you know, have heard about birders, and you and I talked before. They travel
hmm
worldwide. Their optics are, as expensive as a Matthews
I'm
bow or
telling you.
a,
I'm
a
telling you.
Ruger rifle or whatever. I mean,
Yeah,
it's astounding what these people, and they also travel worldwide just to go see one bird
they
and
do
put them in
not
their book.
mind. They do not mind at all. And that's mainly what kind of let me know that it was going to be a success because I can, on our property, let's say you come in the spring in the same area, I can take you by the Upper Creek area, let you walk around that section, Upper Spring, you'll see different birds. You can come back again summer, you'll see different birds. Come back in the fall and you're going to see different birds. So that's three different opportunities for one person to come visit. So if you say, I want to spend all day, $40, and they're going to come back three times. So you're getting money from one person three different times. And a lot of people come back multiple times. I've had one guy, and he works with him, so we don't charge him, but uh, he's been down on our property by so often he about can do the tours for me. That's how often he's been down. But he says, coming in the winter, it's been different. He's heard some stuff that he never heard before in the winter down here, or didn't know that they were in that part of the country. So the professional birders, even the novice people, when they find out area, and we're on eBird as well. It's a website that you can log in your bird counts, but we're on there as Bird and Nature Tours on eBirds. So if anybody is birder and wants to, we're a hotspot on. So if you put in hotspot and put in Birds and Nature Tours, we'll pop up. So that way you can kind of check in, and we have a lot of people that do that. So when we'll go to lunch and we'll tally who seen what, somebody will be the designated logger and they'll log in the birds and how many they saw. So that's a good way to kind of bump up. Somebody say, well, what birds are in your area? And then they can just pull up that list and they can see what birds have been on that or been sighted on that property. So I'm real proud of that because that has to get approved from the eBirds people. So you really just can't say, hey, this spot right here, I'm birding here, and you need to name it. So you got to get approved for that. So they approved us, and we're listed on their website.
Now, when people, keep logs and do all that, that's great. Do they write reviews for you too?
Well, I haven't started that, even though I do have a website. I haven't done the review section just yet, and I'm researching whether or not I want to worry about TripAdvisor. I do have a contact that can get me on there, but for right now, what I'm doing, I mean, I can be booked, as often as I want to go home and do it. So, and once this virus lets up, I really have a lot of people that already kind of say, hey, we're coming. So I would be, I don't know if I would be overwhelmed with it, but what I'm doing right now is working. So just
All
hearing
right.
it from the people and seeing their pictures, and normally they share their pictures with me of what they took, and I usually do kind of goodie bags and giveaways and stuff for people too. And my brother's an artist, so he'll come on the large one, and he has bird art that he sells. And I have, well, I had, but I sold out. So um, I do sketch art, so I have sketch art there to sell, and then he does his thing too. So and t-shirts. So we have some merchandise that I have to get back restocked, but for right now, we're we're gonna restock later on. But it's pretty good right now. So I sold out what I had, so that's another good positive that a lot of people can look at. If you get your business going, there's merchandise that people want to support you. And I've been seeing that a lot here lately, to where people want to support a business that they feel strongly about. So they'll say, "Hey, do you got something I can buy?" And I said, "Yeah, I have some postcards," and I mean they were gone like that. So it's been pretty
That's
good,
great.
pretty interesting,
Yeah,
pretty
it is.
interesting.
And to go back, it's the same 200 acres, fourth
Mhm.
generation, and now diversification and tourism, diversification, ag tourism, and
Yes.
it works, folks. Here's living proof. Christopher Joe
It
is living
works.
proof of what
It
you can
works.
do with your property with a little, not a lot, with a little work.
And the thing is, we didn't do any infrastructure building. We didn't have to clear any land for this. We didn't build anything. It's basically just what we had. Only thing we actually do is bush hog. So just think about deer hunting and how much money you spend deer hunting. Prepping for deer hunting, from the cameras to the seeds to the fertilizer, the ATV, if you use ATV, the plow, all that stuff. How much that cost? And you were like, well, man, how can I offset some of this cost? And you have a trail system through your property, and that you can set up a ground blind, make a shallow water area, and you have wood ducks show up. We walked up on mallards and wood ducks. That's like anything walking down through the woods. Shallow water works. You can ditch up something and make a shallow pond. So, but we really did come out on top because we didn't have to buy anything but the trailer. And I got that out of a place, Lone Wolf Trailers, as a matter of fact, who built the custom trailer for us. So we can do our educational parts that where it's a non-slip. I actually made like a platform almost on it too, so you can, and a spring-loaded gate. So it's 18-foot trailer, wood bottom and heavy-duty tires to where suspension is good, so you can ride around and not bump yourself to death. But we really, really do like that. So that's the only major purchase that we made for birding and doing the nature stuff. But you really don't have to have that. But I did that just to set myself aside from anybody else that's saying they're hosting bird tours. Like, yeah, we host them, but you're gonna walk all the entire way, and then you got to walk back. So I can say, well, I got a trailer that I can take you down there through there, save you some steps to where you can use that energy for birding. Then when you're done, hop back on, and I can take you back to your car. And a lot of people appreciate that, especially in Alabama. Hot summers. I can't even say I'm used to it because it just gets unbearable sometimes. But most of the time, people will start at 9 o'clock and go to about noon almost, and the birds kind of quiet down around noon or something. But if you get there, we did a 6 o'clock, 6 a.m. to 9:30, and it was overcast that day. But on normal from 6 to 9:30, and you'll hear all kind of birds and see all kind of birds. And we walked up on deer too, so wildlife is always around. It's depending on how quiet you are, because we walked 80 yards of 3 does, and they just was like, hey, who are normally nobody's back here, so they kind of just was hopping along pretty light. But yeah, that's a good way that I'm just pleased with where we came from, and like I said, working with you and knowing you this long, it's just like we never left. But I remember first talking to you and saying, hey, what can we do? Can I get on your show and kind of just try to get my name out there? And from that time till now, we've been rocking and rolling.
Well, I'm glad we had a little part in that. So why don't you give your closing statement, and we'll call this a show.
Well, basically, I just want everybody to kind of get the idea in their minds that nature and going outdoors is something that the whole family can do. We've had kids, as a matter of fact, she was maybe 6 months at the time. She was there, and she likes going outside too. So we have her around now. She'll be 1 on Saturday, but Mother's Day she was outside watching us cut hay and bale hay. So from the youth and I didn't canvass who was the oldest person that was on my last tour, and also people with disabilities. I can still offer my property to really anybody and everyone because we make it available for them that, well, I can't walk really good. Okay, well, I have a trailer that I can get you around. Well, it's hard for me to step up on something. Well, I got a spring-loaded gate that comes all the way down, and you can just wheel your wheelchair up if you want to. So that's the thing that I want people to get in their minds about outdoors, that anybody can come outdoors. Outdoors should be open for anybody. There shouldn't be any stipulations to um, enjoying what God has created. And I think everybody can get outside and get some good feeling, because just to walk around the block or something, you feel a little bit better than staying cooped up in a house. So I just want folks to see what we have. You don't have to be a professional birder. You don't have to be a professional horticulturist that you know what every little tree or plant was. Just come and look, come and enjoy, and then you'll hear the cows too, and you might get a chance to feed them. So we do have a lot of things down there that you can get, and there's some history down there too. So you can listen to the stories we have, listen to how we came up, how my father came up, and just what we try to do down there. So I just want everybody to check me out. Email me. I do respond back real quick. I check my emails often, so I'll respond back. We can chat about things. If you got questions about property, habitat improvements, like I said, I do work for the Department of Agriculture, and we have an office in every state and office in every county just about. So wherever you are and you need some assistance with uh, coming up with a plan for your property, I can connect you with that person, and then they can go from there. So if you're looking to replant trees, we help with that, all kinds of stuff. So I'm not going to talk on behalf of the agency, but I just wanted to throw that out there. So in my
That's great.
professional capacity, I can help with that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
One more time. How does somebody reach you?
Reach me at birdsandnaturetours@gmail.com.
And with that, Chris or Joe, let's not wait a few years to go by.
No,
And I'm going to stay in touch with you because I'm planning doing some turkey hunting next year, and
hey,
you're on my list.
hey, I got a bed and breakfast person that can put you up and host you once you get down there. That when you wake up in the morning, you're about 45 minutes from our farm. So I'll take care of you.
I know you will. Okay,
All right,
brother.
then.
Okay,
Thanks.
love you, man. Bye
Love you
bye.
too, man.